From their relaxed weekend breakfast to their quiet, cozy movie, Lily and Ryan seemed to live the kind of life that people admired, and their union was the perfect balance of respect and love. Even after 5 years of marriage, Ryan's eyes still shone with the same fervor they had on their wedding day because he truly believed that Lily was his soulmate and the one person who made him whole. Nights Ryan was the kind of husband that people aspire to be, hard-working, kind, and completely devoted to his wife. Together, they formed an amazing team and seemed to complement one another in every way. Ryan loved Lily so much that it shone, brightly for everyone to see, but as time went on, he noticed little changes, tiny cracks in what seemed to be their perfect life. Lily, who used to share every detail of her day with him, now seemed distant. Her words were brief, and she rarely laughed. She avoided his eyes more often, and her face seemed to conceal something from Ryan that he couldn't understand when they were together. Ryan attempted to ignore these concerns by telling himself that they were simply the result of her demanding new job. She had recently taken on a high-level marketing role that required IR for long hours and frequent travel. But deep down, he couldn't ignore a quiet uneasiness that began to grow. The first obvious sign appeared one Friday night when Lily was out with friends, something Ryan always encouraged. He smiled as she left, telling her to have fun, but as the evening wore on, her texts became less frequent, each one being shorter and less animated than the last, and when she eventually returned home late that evening, her appearance unnerved Ryan. Ryan's stomach. Despite being twisted, he forced himself to maintain his composure and make an effort to ignore the sinking sensation that was rising within of him. Her hair was disheveled, her clothes were a little crumpled, and there was a faint, yet noticeable scent. Ryan didn't want to be the kind of man who doubted her without reason, because Lily had always been dependable, so he put an aroma on her. 2 weeks later, another crack appeared in the picture-perfect moment of their lives. Ryan was helping Lily with the laundry when her phone buzzed on the counter, and without thinking, he glanced at the screen. The message stopped him in his tracks, asking, "Last night was unforgettable. When can we do it again?" His heart felt like someone had grabbed his chest and squeezed it firmly. He put the laundry down carefully and took a deep breath to help him relax. When Lily noticed that his mood had changed, she quickly grabbed the phone and yelled laugh work stuff, dismissing it as a client joke. Ryan attempted to smile, but the seed of doubt had already been sown. The message's words kept coming back to him, repeatedly creating an unsettling echo that made him nervous. He started observing Lily more intently, taking note of every little aspect of her actions. Things that he had previously thought endearing now seemed like clues they were all pointing at something couldn't ignore. When the reality finally came to light on a soggy Saturday night, Lily said him farewell with a kiss and informed him that she would once more be working late. When Lily finally pulled into the parking lot of a small, dimly lit bar on the far side of town, Ryan parked far enough away to stay hidden and watched as she got out of the car. A tall, dark-haired man with an easy smile waited for her by the door. Ryan returned the kiss, but the weight of suspicion hung, heavy on his chest, suffocating and unrelenting. He decided to follow her, grabbing his keys and turning off his headlights as he followed her. Ryan felt his world fall apart as Lily laughed as she approached him, her face beaming in a way he hadn't seen in months. To his surprise, she put her arms around him and their laughter reverberated through the night air. The picture of her embrace was etched in his memory, but he chose to remain in his car rather than follow them inside. He drove home after becoming paralyzed by a flurry of feelings, including, over the course of the next week, he labored in quiet, making plans and following precise procedures at every turn. To keep the house undisturbed, Ryan began by transferring the funds from their joint accounts into one that she couldn't access. Every transaction was completed precisely, eliminating any hint of rush or carelessness. The night before Ryan left, he checked into a suite at a nearby hotel so Lily wouldn't know where to find him. Ryan began packing his belongings, removing only the things he needed one at a time. He worked with his boss to set up a remote work arrangement that would allow him to disappear without being noticed. He was certain that she would most likely spend the night with her unidentified man, which only strengthened his resolve. Ryan had planned to leave before Lily even realized what was happening, leaving her with nothing but an empty house. In the wake of her betrayal, he returned to their home one last time while she was away to finalize the remaining details of his plan. He left a single letter on the kitchen counter that read, "I am aware of everything," in a chillingly straightforward manner. There were no excuses or regrets, just 3 words that perfectly encapsulated his anguish and her dishonesty. After pouring himself a glass of whiskey, Ryan shut the door behind him without looking back at the hotel, making sure that everything that remained of their life together was gone, including the last photo and small memento of it. The house they had shared now felt like a hollow shell reflecting the emptiness in his heart. Ryan. He imagined her face as confusion turned to panic upon realizing he was gone. And he wondered if she would finally understand what she had lost and if she would feel even a small portion of the pain she had caused him at dawn. He sat by the window and watched the city lights flicker against the dark night sky as the minutes slowly passed, each one bringing him one step closer to the day Lily would return to discover the devastation he had left behind. With the scent of someone else's cologne still on her clothing, Lily stumbled into the house and called for Ryan, thinking he was asleep in their bed. However, there was a strange silence flickering on the lights when she spoke, and when she saw the note on the kitchen counter. The words, "simplicity," sent a shiver down her spine. Panic struck as she frantically rushed from room to room. The closet was half empty, the drawers were bare, and even their wedding photos had been painstakingly taken out, leaving no sign of Ryan. She went for her phone and called his number while her hands were shaking. Each call went straight to voicemail. Her messages grew more urgent. She cracked her voice pleading with him to return, but no one answered in the weeks that followed. Ryan had already vanished, and his quiet spoke louder than any words could. Every unanswered call and every unsuccessful attempt to locate him eroded Lily's composure until she was left with nothing but regret that the man she had risked everything for had rapidly lost his appeal. Lily tried everything to reach him, including calling friends, relatives, and even showing up at his employment only to discover he had accepted a remote assignment. What had been exhilarating now appeared empty in the desolate and chilly light of reality. Lily had to deal with the fallout from her choices, while Ryan had started to rebuild his life in a new city with strangers. He found serenity in the chance to start over, and the memories of his failed marriage had gradually faded and been replaced by quiet contentment. He had taken control of his story and refused to let betrayal define him. When Ryan looked back on everything, he felt no anger, but rather a calm understanding that he had given Lily exactly what she wanted, freedom. But in the end, it was a freedom that trapped her in loneliness and regret.